Hey there, Wendy here with Jazzydoodledesigns, and today I thought we would make our own watercolor. Now I am going to be making metallic watercolor. If you've watched my channel before, you may have seen where we made our watercolor binder. If not, and you want to make the binder, you're going to need to do this step and wait at least 24 hours. Now, there are a lot of different, sorry for the clacking, there are a lot of different ways that you can do this. Some are more professional than others, okay? So these are mica, or they're Pearl X mica powders. You can get these at craft stores, Amazon. These are chameleon mica powders. This is the Baltic Day ones. And there's 8 pigment powders in here, and they color change. I don't know if you can, how well you can see, you know, glitter on camera is always interesting. But hopefully you can see that these color shift. Now, I'm going to be playing around with these. I also have this type of mica powder. I bought these ones, they came like 50 colors in a package, and there's quite a few on Amazon. The actual ones that I have, I didn't see where this seller is selling them, but they look just like all the other people's that are selling them, okay? I also have some fine glitter that I'm going to be playing with. This is from the Glittered Pixies, Adding Glitz to Your Day. And they call this Pixie Dust Rose Gold. This is I originally bought it to make like those tumblers and stuff. And then decided that I didn't need glitter everywhere because I'm so messy. But anyway, so I have some of these really pretty glitters. Where's the other ones? And then they sent me, there's one more, here it is. So I got these 3, and then they sent me these 2 little samples. So I pulled out some different colors. Like I thought this would be a really pretty combination. This one I want to try with all 3 of these colors, right? Because it has all 3 of those. This I'm going to make like a traditional white, but I also thought it would be really pretty in this violet color, right? And maybe even, let's see, maybe that was for that one. I can't remember. We're going to play around with the different glitters, and I might even make this black and add some of this deep silver metallic into it and see how that comes out. Okay. I also have this Interference Blue, which is also a shift. So I'm just going to be playing with those. Now, because these are for coloring books, I don't know that you would have to go to this step. If you buy the liquid gum Arabic, you can mix that with your mica powders, and I think it would be plenty good enough. The key is you want to mix it and then test it, right? Once you get it mixed, test it on a piece of paper, let it dry, rub your finger on it. You don't want it to come back off. If it rubs back off on your finger, you need to add more binder, okay? My binder has powdered gum Arabic, distilled water, honey, and glycerin, okay? The honey and the glycerin supposedly help it re-wet and do all those different kinds of things. I'm going to be trying to use just a palette knife and my glass surface, but I do have a little muller if I need it. I don't think I'm going to need it for something this fine. I think the muller is when people are adding like bulk pigment. It needs to be ground a little finer, but this stuff is super fine. So I probably won't be using that. As far as tins, I have this gorgeous little tin here, right? This comes out, and I thought it would be a perfect little to-go palette. It comes with this so that you can clip it onto an easel for on the go. And it comes with a clip with a little water pot, right? It's a really cute set. But my main thing that I'm going to fill up is this bad boy, right? I bought this tin just on Amazon. I think it was like $6 or $7. It comes with the little tins, and it comes with magnets like you would see in these bookmarks, right? Like these kind of like flat kind of magnets. But I had some little tiny extra strong magnets, so I glued those on. And I apologize, I broke my nail today. So it looks kind of rough. And I want to play. I don't want to go get my nail fixed. But anyway, so I did that. That way I can take these out and fill them and then put them back in. Okay? So let's start playing. If you have pigment powders, you can mix them just with water and apply them to your page. You just need to add a fixative then over the top, much like pan pastel, right? Because you're just adding them to your page. You can even put them on with your finger if you like. Now, the one thing I will say safety-wise, you should probably wear a mask when you're working with mica powders because they're ultra fine and you never want to like blow on them or create something that makes them airborne if you can help it, because we don't want to be inhaling mica into our lungs, and they're super duper small. Okay, so wear a mask, and don't get like slapdashery with, you know, I'm talking to myself here, impatient Wendy. Take your time when you're mixing it with your binder so that, you know, we're not making them airborne. Okay? So I'm going to pick a few of these to begin with, and we're going to have some fun. Okay, you guys, let's get started. I picked out Aztec Gold from Pearlex. That's what I'm going to start with, okay? So, I don't want to make a ton of this, so I'm going to take one scoop here. I'm going to use a pipette. I have no idea. They said about, I've seen 1 to 1 and I've seen more. So I'm just doing kind of a little chopping. I think it kind of depends on what you want your paints, like how shimmery, right? I do think it's important to really mix well. Look at that beautiful color, though. I think I may have gotten a little too much binder, though. So I'm going to add a little more, and you can wear gloves. With certain pigments, I think it's really important Pearl is pretty, I mean, they've been around for a long time, and I've never really seen any warnings about Pearl. So this would make it I think initially that was probably closer to 1 to 1. So this is probably 2 parts pigment to 1 part binder. We'll see what that looks like. And you know what? I'm just going to have to experiment. But do you see how well that mixes together? Because Pearl is very, very fine. And it's very, very shimmery. So I'm going to do a little test. Okay, so I have a paintbrush here. I don't really want it wet. I want to apply it directly. This is not watercolor paper. This is just black paper, just cardstock. I don't think I have any black watercolor paper, but you can see it's gorgeous, right? I do think I need to mix just a little more. Look how pretty that is. Okay. Also, I recommend that you always clean your paintbrush right away with watercolors so that you don't get that mica stuck in there, because it's really hard to get out if you do. Okay. We're going to let that dry completely. I do feel like it needs more mixing. Now, if I was to want to sell this or something like that, I would need to measure so that I know the recipe so I could duplicate it. And I do think that's a good idea. This is just one color that I'm doing right here. But let's say that I were to try and put, let's say this in there, right? This rose flamingo. I think that would make a beautiful color. But then if I wanted to duplicate it, I would need to know how much of each, right? So that's where it would be very helpful to actually write down how much of each you did. Also, if I was to sell this, I would mull it, meaning use a glass muller. But this is just for me and just for my coloring books. And so any imperfections in it are my own fault, and I would have to live with them. Okay, so let's see here if it's dry. It is dry. And none is coming off on my fingers, so I know I have enough pigment or binder, okay? But look how pretty. All right, so that is our Aztec Bold. So at this point, I am going to turn off the camera. Well, maybe I'll show you the first one. Maybe we'll just stick it in this little pot, because I know you want to be entertained in watching me do this. Now, this is probably too small of a pot for this, she says, in retrospect. Oh, you guys, my impatience knows no bounds. I'm already trying to figure out a faster way to do this. So I made way not enough for the small little pot that I put it in. Good to know. Good to know. It's just our first one. Now I do want to let this set without the lid. And I know I said it in the watercolor or in the binder making video, but I only use distilled water whenever I'm doing anything like this to keep the risk of mold down, okay? Okay, that's all I'm gonna get out of there, I think. I feel like I should be able to get more. I don't think this is the right thing to mix in. I think I'll just mix right here on my glass, which is why I had the glass to begin with. One thing to note, you always want to label these. On the lid or on the bottom. So I'm going to write Aztec Gold Pearl X. And I'm going to say 2 to 1. Right? That way I know what I did. Okay, let's try. Oh, I wanted to show you real quick. This is that Aztec Gold on white. Isn't that pretty? Love it. Okay, next, let's take this teal. I'm going to make more of it than I did the last one. Being careful. Don't fluff it, Wendy. I want to mix in some of this glitter. I have no idea how much glitter. I'll start with that much. Should I have measured? Maybe. Okay, let's get our pigment powder. Just gonna create a little well. Or not our pigment powder, our binder. Start with that. It's a little easier, I think, not being in that little tray. Oop, don't do that. So this is more like a little paste. think it needs to be a little more liquidy. Let's add 2 more drops. So I don't know if it feels different because of a different amount of the binder to watercolor or mica, or if it's because of the glitter, or if it's just this brand, right? But I am gonna put a little aside here. Make sure I get all the gold out of my paintbrush. And where's our piece of paper? Okay. I want to dry my brush. It's kind of hard to use. It's pretty, but I feel like it, see how it kind of like binds up in my paintbrush? I want to see. Okay, we're gonna let that dry a minute. Let go. Okay, so that's dry. And it really is pretty. But do you see how it comes off on my finger? Right? It rubs off. That tells me I don't have enough binding agent in it. So we're going to add a little bit more. We'll put 3 more drops in. I don't know about that glitter. I may make this without it too. Okay, I added more binder. It could be that I'm trying to make too small of batches. Yeah, I think this is feeling a little better. See how it's more liquidy, but not runny, right? Like, definitely passes like a drip test, but I just think it just goes on better, right? Before it was just too chunky. I mean, we still have the glitter chunks. Let's let that dry. Okay. This is just a drop of that binder. But isn't that pretty? And it's not really coming off. A little bit of the glitter. But I'm going to call that good. So I'm going to put that in one of my pans. All right. You know your girl is messy. And uncoordinated. Okay. Should I have written that on the bottom of that pan? Yes. Of course I should have. Okay, I just want to take a moment and say, look at how pretty. Do you see all the glitter on that? You know, because invisible glitter. But this is it on black so far. But it even looks good on white. I love it. Okay, so let's try one of the chameleon powders. This one says blue, cyan, and purple. And so I thought maybe this one would be pretty in it. Or, this one has more like red tones in it, so I think this one. Okay, let's give it a go. Oh, I hate these things. I hope it doesn't explode. Put a tiny hole in it. Okay, good. Usually I'm good for a big fat mess. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's gorgeous. Okay, so this is beautiful. I am going to put that much. I might do it just without the glitter because this is really pretty. Just to see what it looks like. Okay. So that's like 50-50, right? Let's start with that. Make sure I'm good in camera. I really like this color. Just keep making it go further. Oh, jeez. See, I just want to prove that even someone that's messy, uncoordinated, like me, can do this. You guys got this in the bag. Oh, my word. Wait. Yep, you got it in the bag. I think I like that other. I like this one better for blending this way. Already I feel like we got a good, like, I don't know if it was that glitter that was making it not mix well, or maybe I just didn't have enough binder from the get-go. Get our little test card here. My paper towel, wipe off my mess. All right. Yeah, that blends out pretty good. That isn't that far off of that other one, is it? I bet on white it's a lot bluer. I'm going to test that, make sure. Okay, I tested that and it dried. Oh, let's write this on the side. I think I need to be making a little bit more at a time. So I'm going to clean this up and I'm going to make more of that. Okay, so I changed my mind and I decided to move on to another color. So I put that pearl down and then I went ahead and added about an equal, just under an equal part of the glitter. Okay, and then I'm going to match the amount of both of those with binder. Now, one thing I did find is that when you add glitter, you need a little more binder. So go ahead and start with at least equal parts. Okay, so I'm going to set the rest to music and I'll catch you at the end. this color turned out really pretty, and the glitter really pops in it. I think you can see it both in the puddle of glitter as well as on the card. Okay, for the next, I think 4 colors, I basically have sped this up to 2 times speed, and I'm just duplicating the process, letting you kind of watch it, and you can see, I think, my evolution into figuring out how much to start with and hopefully how not to make such a big mess. But I think that you'll see that when you start with the proper amount of binder, you're going to watch me evolve, and you can see how the product is getting better at getting off the glass. It even gets better as I go along. So enjoy the process, and then I'm gonna pop back in when I do blending 2 different colors. So enjoy. Okay, you guys, I have been making, look at all of these delicious colors. Let me show you. Okay, so here's my little swatch sheet. And you can see that they're pretty vibrant, especially, I gotta say, these chameleon ones, they put off a really nice vibrancy. And I really like that unicorn dust in these. So the ones that have that are like, this one has some glitter, this one, this one. I just think that's kind of fun. There's glitter in this one and in this one. They don't pop out as much. There's probably a trick to the whole glitter thing that I'm not aware of, right? Maybe you have to use translucent colors. I'm not sure. But, you know, I've been really happy. And I do show you some of the process when I first started, but I think I've kind of honed in a little bit. But I thought I would try this. This is Blue Cyan Purple, which is this one, right? And then this one is Blue Gold Green, which is this one. Okay, so I am going to try and mix those and see if I can get a green. But the main thing is I want to show you the technique now that I've kind of played around with it a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of that back. I've gotten a little bit better about judging how much product we need to, you know, to fill up one of these little pans. Now I'm going to go with this one being a little bit less. We can always add more. We can change the color, right? But what I found is that when you got your little pile here, I found that you need about the same amount of binder as pigment. So can you see that that's kind of roughly the same? I can always add a little more. And so I like to kind of flip this over and then kind of chop. Kind of push that back into it. Now, I don't know how this is going to work because these are both color changing colors, right? It might just make mud. But see, this is a little loose. I actually really, really like this color. It definitely isn't as, we're not in the green family, but I like this color. That's probably too much. That's all right. This is how we learn, right? But I'm trying to show you the consistency that I'm looking for. I want a consistency that it's, see how I can very easily scrape this and it's not getting stuck to my mat? When I show you the footage later in the video, and look how much more green we're getting now. But you see how I can actually pull the entire amount, right? So that's one indicator that I found. It's easier when you're mixing colors too, because you can really see like what color, like if you have some yellow still or some blue, you can really see that, right? But that's a pretty color. I'm okay with this consistency. It's just a touch runnier than I would like. I'm going to add just a little more blue. Not as much as I did before. I think before I wasn't, like when I first started, I don't think I was adding quite enough binder. I mean, that's kind of a cool color. Okay, let me pull out one of these. But see how it kind of flows in there? I found that that was kind of a good indicator. Now, we're all aware that you're following an idiot on the internet, but look at the beautiful color. Let's see what we get on paper. Okay. Look at that. That is pretty. I am very happy with that color. Let's see it on white. I like that most of these actually do pretty well on white. Like, look at that, right? I've been pretty pleased with our results so far. You can really see the glitter in some of these here. And in others, not as much. But I see it more on the white. So, okay, you guys, before I go, it has been at least 48 hours since I filmed. I let these sit out and dry. You can see how much they've sucked down. This one was like kind of poofed out. Most of these looked relatively full. Now that's to be expected. But I had a lot of fun doing this. So much so that I bought 2 more things of chameleon resin powder because I had such a blast with this, and I want to show you how much shinier these are now that they're dry. Now, keep your eye on this one. See how it looks green? And now, let's see. See how dark it gets? And then this one, how it looks like a yellow-green there. And then look how bright it gets. Very white, maybe. This one too has that kind of greenish, and then it goes pink. Can you see how pink it is? I hope I can make this work for you guys. This one really changes. It's like a coppery kind of color. And then, see, it's kind of copper there. And then definitely goes into like the blue-red. But that is a definite changer. This one is like duo purple and gold. So it looks purple, then it goes gold. This one is spring green and a blue interference. That was just my own custom little mix. But I had a lot of fun with these. I think they're pretty shiny. I was really impressed with the shininess of these by themselves, like not mixed. I think you start getting a little more matte colors when you start mixing them. I'm not sure why this one doesn't look shiny at all. It's literally like paint. So I'm not sure what happened with that one. But overall, I had an awful lot of fun. Here they all are on black. And then these are what they came out in the pots, right? You guys saw how good I was with the smearing the black on the lid. But anyway, I'm gonna do some more. I'm definitely gonna make some more. I don't think I'm gonna do them on camera because this really isn't a watercolor channel. But in an upcoming video, I am going to be using these. I'm going to find some coloring books, and we're going to use watercolor in our books. I've already filmed one page where I used it, but that was with the Shalinka. So I want to film maybe using some of these homemade ones, maybe a mix, right? Using some of the ones I have. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Let me know in the comments. I mean, if you guys want to see another video on these being made, we can do that. I'm really flexible. So as always, you drive the content on the channel, with a little sidebar for when I get my squirrel moments. So anyway, guys, take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching another video from Jazzydoodledesigns. If you'd like even more Jazzydoodle and a little more snark, please check out the membership below. If you're looking for a community where you can share your work and chat with other fellow colorists in a safe and welcoming environment, hit the subscribe button to Jazzydoodledesigns and then look for Jazzydoodledesigns Coloring Community on Facebook. And there you can join a group of fellow colorists to talk all things coloring and share cute pet pictures. I hope to see you there. And until next time, happy coloring.